Okay, so this video is going to explore the issue of identity, and particularly identity and rhetoric. So essentially, when it comes to identity, it's all about using one's voice to deliver a passionate yet rational argument that an audience trusts. And in any piece of writing, there's a spectrum of identity that ranges from portraying oneself as an ordinary person to adopting a completely different identity. And it's important that you use the appropriate identity for a writing situation. So when it comes to identity and credibility, it's not about tricking people. It's about projecting a certain side of yourself to better communicate your argument. In the same way that when you interview for a job, you may show a more experienced, formal side of yourself, whereas if you're out with your friends, you show a more relaxed social side. So depending on the writing situation, you would adjust that part. You would show more of one part of your personality than the other. And with this comes the idea of your level of authority, which matters in writing, right? Because depending on the writing situation, you have a different level of authority. So in this particular panel, it was talking about how if you're writing for a blog that aimed at teenagers applying to college and you admit that you're a college freshman, then that gives you a certain level of authority. However, you can't just identify yourself as a college freshman if you're commenting on some type of political discussion, right? Because being a college freshman would actually work against you rather than for you. So the idea is you want to come across as knowing what you're talking about. And in this chapter, it talks about how it uses the image of changing one's clothing to assume different identities, right? There's that part about Dr. Loesch and the t-shirts. And one she's in a Star Trek t-shirt, and then another she's in a video game one and I guess she's speaking in front of a video gamer conference, right? And the same concept occurs in writing. Depending on the topic, you may not want to reveal you are a student because it may affect people's view of your expertise and compromise your level of authority. So these are things you want to think about. And I think in a growing, because we are so media conscious, a lot of times people assume that just because they can post anything anywhere, that automatically gives them a level of authority. And although that may be the case in general social media, to some extent, that does not translate when you're writing an essay or working on a particular project for your job or anything like that. So you have to think about the situation, and depending on the situation, you adjust the content and what you reveal about yourself. So, school exams, work projects, tweeting about a social event, these require different aspects of your identity and levels of expertise, and so you adjust those levels accordingly. So basically, each writing situation is an opportunity for you to look at different roles and explore situations and think about different concepts, but it opens up these opportunities for you to look at different subjects, formats, and situations, which is liberating, considering that if you don't enjoy one writing project, you could enjoy the next one, which I'm sure all of you think about all the time. But it also means that you're not locked into this one identity that you always have to write with. Depending on the situation, you really can change to some extent what you're presenting about yourself. And I think that is very liberating, because frankly, who wants to be a one-dimensional person, right? We want to all have various facets to ourselves. Okay, so that's something to think about.